Guys, in this tiny box is this huge 51-inch wingspan Super Cub. This is the PA-18. It's brand new from FMS. It has EPP construction and probably one of the most durable types of Super Cubs that I've ever put together to date. And I've flown a lot of Super Cubs. This style plane was what got me back into flying RC airplanes probably 20 years ago now. And it includes flaps, if you guys are wondering. You can get it with a radio or without. But I think we should just go ahead and strap up some cameras on here and go out and give it a flight and a proper review for the PA-18. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and let's fly this bird. Let's go ahead and plug in the 3S2200. This came with it and a charger. I wanna make sure my throttle's at 0. I'm standing in front of this. If you fly RC airplanes, it's always a good idea to stand behind the plane when you're plugging everything in. So we have a camera down on the wing, gonna give you kind of a 3/4 view toward the front of the fuselage, and we have a top wing camera. So just gonna check out all my surfaces. Everything looks good here. Everything's pretty well trimmed out. I may have to do a little bit of trim once I get up in the air, but this is a pretty rough terrain right here to be able to get up and airborne from. So we'll see how this landing gear does once we start to taxi around a little bit. I'm gonna attempt to do a takeoff from right here out this direction over the field. So let's go ahead and see how it taxis around. You know, this is where a lot of planes will fail and have a prop strike, because of so much rocky, like bumpy terrain. But that's why the Tundra tires are great. That's what they're made for. So that's what we're testing out today. That looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool. People have been doing some donuts out here, doing some 4x4 stuff, so not making it any friendlier for us, but looking good there. I like the lights on the side. Has white light up front, red light here, and I don't see that my other light's on really. Oh, yeah, it is. Cool. Green light on this side. So all my lights are on, and I'm gonna see if I can take off from this direction right here. This looks good. Making sure all my cameras are recording. Okay, everything looks pretty good there. Okay, guys, you're gonna fly with me. This is our maiden flight. Full throttle. Just barely made it up right there. Oh man. And right now I'm in stabilize mode, so I'm able to let go of the sticks, you know, and the wings level out. This one does come with that reflex, I believe it's V2. Right there, I'm just a little below half throttle, just cruising. And you know, once I start doing some more aerobatic stuff, like, we're probably gonna get way less flight time out of that battery. I was thinking today when I was coming out here, I could all right, wingtip stall to the ground, underneath quarter throttle. I got too comfortable. Looks like the cam flew off. I'll have to go out there and find the cam. We'll see if there's any damage to, oh, it looks like the wing cam's still there. There is our giant GoPro packing tape apparatus there. Oh, I broke the prop. Are you kidding me? We broke the prop, guys, so yeah. All right, guys, we're back at the field now. The wing is put back together. I had the wing separate back here, and luckily I had another prop in my Kingfisher box. This is an 11x7, so if you get this plane, make sure you get a couple extra props in the box. I did all my surface check. Everything's good. All the cameras are recording, so we're gonna go ahead and take off again, and I'm gonna talk about some takeaways from that crash, okay, while I'm flying this plane. So okay, let's go ahead and get this show on the road, full throttle. Again, just barely made it off the end before the grass. So you know, here's what happened. Let's talk about that crash. I was flying around the field. I was playing around with the low throttle situation, and I really should have been testing it about 3/4 throttle to, you know, full throttle to start at right after takeoff. So I was, you know, trusting that stability that's built into this plane. If you use a little bit of rudder and a turn, as you can see, it does slightly stall out a little bit. So, you know, as you stall, you're gonna drop. The front of the plane is gonna drop. So I'm gonna go ahead and try a different mode now outside of stabilize. Oh boy, don't want to hit that top of that tree over there. That was pretty sketchy. A little bit of turbulence right above that tree. So I'm gonna go ahead and get up to about 3/4 throttle. You know, there's a little bit of wind today too. You know, these planes fly really well in manual mode. They are quite aerobatic. Right now I'm in full manual mode. And I'm just gonna give it a barrel roll, why not? And these, you know, these planes are intermediate to advanced planes. They're not really a beginner plane so much, and it is a heavy plane. It's pretty heavy. And you know, on 3S, you don't have a ton of power, I don't think. So we're gonna go ahead and swing back around this way again. We're gonna get nose into the wind. I know the wind's right over here coming to my right. I'm gonna go ahead and try a loop. Kind of a sketchy loop there, but that was full power. Now I'm back off to about 75%. Just cruising. I can go back in stable mode. And that's the thing. If you feel like you're starting to corkscrew with a plane, the Reflex 2 will kind of help you out. It's not going to bail you out of every situation, but it is kind of like a, you know, a save your ass type of switch, especially for the new guys. You know, if you're new, you should look for this review I have coming up on my channel. It's that new Kingfish I was talking about from FMS. You guys have to see that plane. And I don't really know quite what the flight time is going to be with this plane today, but I know one thing's for sure. When I get low to the ground, since I do have a little bit of wind today, I'm going to have quite a bit of turbulence. So when we do attempt to land with this type of terrain, I'm going to try to back up, give myself plenty of, really having used a lot of power to fly into the wind right here. So there's a front coming this direction. You see that off in the distance? Whenever there's a front coming, you're going to have an increased amount of wind. I learned that from just living out at the beach on the islands. There's our birds of prey again. There it goes, almost into a downward corkscrew. See, when I use a little bit of extra, you know, more than half rudder, it starts to want to corkscrew. So right now I'm going back to full manual. Just gonna go side to the wind. I'm gonna try a little bit of a knife edge, full throttle. Kind of wanted to do it. Kind of backed off a little bit. We'll try that again. Oh, being a little bit wild in the wind there. So I'm gonna get back on my stability. And it looks like I'm like, oh boy. Wow. Did that really just happen? Uh-oh. We're going down. I hope I didn't break my second prop. I feel like that battery, something's going on with that battery. It's not doing me justice. Let's go check it out. Let's see what kind of crash we had. Broken propeller again. FMS, I'm gonna need a handful of those propellers. And looks like the GoPro flew off. Probably ended the file though. Here's the end of the prop. GoPro battery. And the wing. Okay, let's see how much. We got a half a prop again. So, uh-oh, broken struts. So, yeah, it looks like a broken strut, prop, wing separation, but it's kind of to be expected, really. And go ahead and turn off the battery before I accidentally throttle myself. Let's see if anything else is compromised. It's a good video for you guys to see. The ultimate crash. Looks like a little bit of mud in the nose cone. Looks like we broke the cowl. You know, it was a straight down hit. Straight down hit. I just had no throttle in my motor at all when this thing was going in. Pretty much zero power and not recoverable. All right, guys, I'm back from my hike out into the field to get the Super Cub. So, you know, I got to think about this a lot. I think part of the problem may have been the battery. It did get back into that corkscrew again, and I lost a lot of power. So I don't think it's the electronics on the plane per se. It didn't seem to have full power. If it did have full power, I would have been able to throttle out of that. One thing I will say in comparison to some of the other Super Cubs that I've flown in the past, and I've flown a lot of them. 20 years ago I started out with the Horizon Hobby, which is now the Horizon Hobby Super Cub. It's a ready-to-fly kit. That one's ultra light, but it's only a little brushed motor, and it'll just get you up in the air. This one is 20 years later. It has a brushless motor, 11-inch prop. It should be more aerobatic, I feel like, than it is. I wouldn't say this is an aerobatic Cub, Super Cub, but I'm sure there's pilots out there on YouTube who will definitely show me wrong on that one. But yeah, it may be a lot of factors. It may be the battery, it may be how windy it is today, or it could be that maybe the ESC is not performing properly. It's really hard to tell. But I did get back into that corkscrew and I couldn't get out of it, and I just didn't have enough power to just push out like I wanted to. And after we missed that tree back there, I thought I was coming back to the field, and I just got into another tail slide, and that put us straight into a stall. So it does have a pretty hard stall tactic as far as tail slide. Tail slide will put you into a more of a stall. So the tail stalls out. It is a very short fuselage, and it is a short wing. So it's a clipped wing Cub. It's not a long wing Cub, so you don't have as much glide out of this type of wing as you would a full-size Cub wing. It's more of a carbon Cub style wing, so it definitely should be faster and more aerobatic. But I was just looking for a little more power out of this plane. So I think that it's definitely fixable. It just, in the RC airplane world, this is very fixable. We didn't even break the tail. The tail actually comes off into two pieces. It has a bolt here and under. This wing separated, that can be put right back on with a little bit of CA. Just put some packing tape over that seam, and that will do that. If that happens to yours, if you do nose yours in, this is what's gonna happen. So be prepared for that if you've already bought this plane or you've been flying it. What is impressive though is the landing gear, because 99.9% of the time when you have a frontal crash with a lot of these style planes, the landing gear pops right off. So I would say that the landing gear is like extra XL durable. Looks like the springs are intact. This one did get bent back a little bit, it looks like. So that can be bent right back into place. And that's what happens with landing gear sometimes. You just bend it back in place and you're good to go again. But yeah, a couple battle scars, and the plane will fly again. So if you live in the Portland, Oregon area and you want this plane, I'm gonna donate this plane to somebody who wants to put a new prop on there, glue the wing back, get a new strut on that side, and yeah, it'll be your plane. I'll give you the battery too. Who knows what that battery's doing? You might want to test it. But yeah, it'll be your plane. So contact me on Drone Camps on Facebook, or send me an email from the website, and maybe this will become your plane. So this became a giveaway and a review today. So I want to say thanks to FMS. If they could please send me some extra 11x7 props, because now I'm going to need one to fly your Kingfisher. I used 2 props today in this review. Hope you enjoyed the flight test, guys. I'm Justin Davis. Take care, and I will see you on the next one.